All right, if we were to see a rounded, an arched back, an arched back in the overhead squat, that we're seeing an anterior tilt in the pelvis, and again that rib cage flaring, we need to strengthen some of these muscles, specifically our glute max and our hamstring complex. These muscles are involved, if you can think of it as they're posterior tilters. They play a role in tilting that pelvis more posteriorly. So if we're able to dip the pelvis, instead of being an anterior tilt, we're able to tuck it under a little bit more and tuck the tailbone under more, then we're going to see that that low back is less likely to arch. So we're strengthening down in the lower portion through that. Now, if we start to peel back some of the layers, the other big pieces of the puzzle are your intrinsic core stabilizers. And those are, you can think of it really from like a 360 view. So there's pieces that play into it from, right, we can see all the way down here deep, and this is our multifidus. And as we start to add layers back in, we can see this is our transverse abdominis, and that's kind of like your body's weight belt. And that plays a big role, right, in wrapping around and giving more support to the midsection, to your trunk, and in your bracing. We can also see down low here, to kind of like give some encapsulation to things, we have our pelvic floor. So we're getting support from the sides, from the back, from the bottom, and just all around support in improving the stability of that trunk and bracing. So all those pieces that are contributing into our intrinsic core stabilizers. And even if we start to go a little bit further out, on top of those, right, this is our transverse abdominis. If we add the next layer above that, this is our internal obliques. And so that's about, when we think about the intrinsic core stabilizers, that's about as far out as we're going to go. But you can see that there's a good amount of bracing that's afforded to help strengthen. And you can see some of these ones, think about it from the anterior side. If the rib cage was to flare open, that if we strengthen these a little bit more in the front to stabilize and provide some support from the side and then from the front, that we can also then tuck the rib cage down and avoid that from flaring open. So those are the muscles that are underactive when we look at the low back arching in the overhead squat. All of these kind of intrinsic core stabilizers, and then our hamstrings and our glutes.